Hello, everyone. Welcome to One Liners, a new weekly series centered around key influencers and players from the performance marketing space. My name is Joey Liner of Liner Connections, and I am your host. With me today is my good friend Puja. Puja, please say hello and introduce yourself.
Hi, Joey. Puja Amin, aka Queenie here. I'm excited. I know you have a name for your show, Joey, but I kind of like the afternoon liner show. It has a ring to it.
Hey, I'm open. I'm open to feedback and changes there. It was a cool. I did a LinkedIn poll in this one-liners, but there's so many variations of liners, so we're gonna have some fun with it. But thank you for joining today. You have been so busy recently. I see you out and about at shows. I see you just sharing a lot of good content information. But one thing is, I know you. I've had a good opportunity to have some good conversations with you. And I don't think most people know. I see you as one of the most prominent attorneys within the performance
Mhm.
marketing space. You've earned it. But I don't think most people know your journey. So tell us a little bit. How'd you get into the space?
First of all, thank you for that, Joey. Very kind of you. Yeah, so what a lot of people don't know is that I started my career off as an insurance defense litigator at this great little shop in Orange County, medium-sized firm. And I'll never forget it. For about a week, I kept getting dozens of phone calls from a legal recruiter. At the time, I wasn't looking for a new job at the time, but he kept calling. So I was like, let me pick up his phone. So, he insisted that I meet with one of the nation's best TCPA attorneys. And I was like, huh? One, what's the TCPA? Two, not interested. Sure enough, he convinced me to go in for an interview. And there I met Eric Troutman, also known as the Czar. And, I interviewed, met the team, learned a little bit about the TCPA. And, I was interested. I did ask him, like, well, why was he so eager to get me to interview? And I'll never forget it. He's like, I've interviewed over 14 people for this position. And at the end of each interview, I asked, if I hire you, who would you bring along with you? And apparently, four people in Orange County area had said Puja Amin. And Eric's like, who's this Puja Amin lady? I need to get her into the door. So, here I am now, co-founder, soon to be partner of the Troutman Firm, sitting alongside the greatest TCPA defense attorney in the nation. So, it's been a
Yeah,
while. It's been a journey. It's cool.
that is. Yeah, let's talk about that journey. So, wow. Okay, I didn't even know that. So, because I've never asked you that. So I'm glad that now sharing that with our followers. Um, you are very gracious and grateful for the people that have given you an opportunity. I know that from talking to you. You earned it. You work hard. Um, but you've had a lot of changes recently over the last couple of years. So tell us a little bit about that so everybody can take that into context.
Yeah, so as soon as I got my bearings in the TCPA space, I was fortunate at a time when I was in Big Law to get an opportunity to work with one of my clients at the time, Loan Depot, to come in as their marketing and TCPA counsel. And specifically, the general counsel at that time was looking for someone with TCPA experience. So it was a seamless transition. I knew their operations quite well, but one thing I didn't know was the performance marketing industry as well, right? So as soon as I joined the Loan Depot team, sure, I had the TCPA experience and the expertise to provide, but the business partners, right, like the marketing teams, how much they taught me about an area that I wasn't as familiar with. And, they welcomed me with open arms. Obviously, when you're working with business partners in legal, there's going to be certain disagreements, but it was really cool to learn from them and really build my expertise even further. And a part of my success, really goes to those experiences. So I'm always grateful for the folks I've met throughout my time at Loan Depot. Then, I met Jennifer Mansfield. She is the CEO of Digital Thrive, fantastic company. And Jen just blew me away. The first time I met her, she's so incredibly smart. She's a woman CEO. She's
Yeah.
been in this industry way longer than I have, right? She knows the ins and outs of performance marketing. And what was cool about her was like compliance was always her highest priority. And, she trusted me to become their general counsel to help lead Digital Thrive to become even more compliant than they already were, which is really, really cool. And then Eric Troutman, being Eric Troutman, decided, at the wrong timing to start his own firm, and given my career goals, for one day wanting to be a partner at a law firm, Jen essentially blessed the transition, right? It was really because of her and Eric kind of working together to figure out a package, if you will, right?
Yeah.
So I was still right there on the day-to-day operations of Digital Thrive while also being able to become, almost partner at the Troutman Firm. So, just forever grateful, right? If it weren't for the folks I've met throughout my journey, including Jen, the folks at Loan Depot, and Eric, I wouldn't be where I'm at, right? People have opened the doors for me, and that trust is really what I'm the most grateful for. So,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
awesome. I mean, it's rare you can have that open dialogue like that. It's very special to be because you give it your all for the people that you work for. You care so much about them. They reciprocate that back to you, which is super cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's great, great story. So tell me about Queenie. Like, where did that come from? Did you pronounce yourself the Queenie, or did somebody give you that nickname? Tell us about
Oh,
that.
Joey, this is a great story. And I'm so glad that I get to finally share where the name came from. So, soon after, tracking back to when Eric had interviewed me, I went home in true Puja fashion, right? I had to learn everything about the TCPAs. I listened to every podcast he had, every blog he had out there. And, I was like, day one, when I step through that door, I'm going to be a TCPA guru. So I walk in and he's like, "So what's your role court name going to be?" I was like, "Well, the queen, of course." And he looks at me with a blank stare, like, "Are you serious? It's your first day." I was like, "Well," he's like, "How about Queenie until you earn the title of queen?" And I said, okay, right. I was like, I'm going to quickly prove to you that I deserve the title of queen. And sure enough, I did. But the name Queenie just stuck, and even until it's safe, like, are you gonna change your name to Queen? I'm like, no, it's gonna be Queenie forever.
I
So
love it. I love it. It sticks too, and
it
it's nice.
sticks,
We'll talk
right?
about TCPA world in a bit, but first, we had a mutual friend, good friend Amanda Ferris, who co-founded Link Unite. We discussed last week about challenges of being a woman within performance marketing. What are some of the obstacles that you've run into out and about?
Well, first of all, how great is Amanda? You already know this, Joey. I respect her so much and what she's built with Link Unite. And another
Yeah.
reason I'm grateful to be even a part of that community, right? That Amanda has opened the doors to so many women. So, just I love you, Amanda. If you're listening, thank you. I get this question a lot, right? Especially as
Yeah.
a Indian female attorney, right?
Yeah.
I'm the only attorney in my family, and it's meaningful, right?
Yeah.
But well, questions people ask, what challenges have you had, right? And quite frankly, the biggest challenge I've had is the need and the self pressure to always want to be the best, right?
Right.
Everyone wants to be the best at something, and I'm constantly trying to be the best at everything I do, whether it's my hobbies, whether it's work, whether it's my friendships, whatever it is, being the best at. um so if I the biggest challenge I face is just that, keeping up with societal pressures. And
Yeah.
one thing I've learned to help combat that challenge is, you never do it for fame, never do it for money, but you do it to continuously better yourself and become the best, right? And if you're truly the best at something, everything else just takes care of itself. And that's cool, right? And the challenges seem like opportunities, right? And I
Yeah.
love I love others. I love learning from others. I love hearing other people's opinions, good and bad, right? Because you learn from each, and the challenges that come from that, right? People always ask, how did you become so successful? How did you do this? What steps did you take? And I always tell folks is like, just trust me. If you knew how hard I worked, none of this would seem as marvelous to you. And that's a famous quote, and I live by that, right? It's just constantly working really, really hard to be best version of yourself.
Oh man, amen. I think, I mean, it's genuine. I know it. I mean, that's really, really, really a cool way to go about life. And I think you are awesome. You let your work ethic, like the pressure. I can't imagine the pressures like you just had discussed. Especially within our space. But to have a group with like Amanda's forum, like I said, I think that gives you a great community to be able to discuss with, and to be able to share your feelings. So I'm hopeful that you get to go to uh, the retreat here in a little bit.
I'm
It's
so
great.
excited. I think
Yeah,
we're all really excited. We're all, I think, working really hard so we can enjoy those few days off.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a fantastic event, and it really brings together like-minded people. So that's what I like
Amen.
the most about it. Hmm.
Speaking about working hard, you and the team are traveling everywhere. And it's fair to ask, please don't take this as offensive, but
Nope.
you guys, when I'm watching you on LinkedIn and, you have video shoot, you guys have it. What do you think the perception is? It almost looks like you guys are like an entourage. Remember the show Entourage?
Yeah, yep,
It
yep, yep.
almost looks like you guys are the performance marketing entourage. Like, what do you feel like people perceive you as? Almost like a reality show, almost, right? But what do you think? What do you guys think? What do you talk about when you think people are talking about you?
And I mean this in the kindest way, right? We just don't have time to think about how other people perceive us, right? We're constantly, thinking about how we perceive ourselves as opposed to how others are perceiving. So you should have been on the show, or the shoe, where everyone's just worried about, their hair or how they look or what color they're wearing,
Yeah,
right? It's just, um, but we're building something unique, right?
yeah,
Eric and I are in agreement that we're building something unique for our client's best interest, right? And a
yeah,
part where Eric and I really line up is trying to get out of that big law firm feel, right?
yeah,
Including the prices, right? We both left that life for a
yes,
reason because our client's best interest is what we value the most. And that's all that matters, right? So, yeah, we have fun, but the truth is, we work so incredibly hard. We want to be approachable, right? We want to be extremely
yeah,
approachable to our clients. Um, while getting rid of the big law scaries. And there's a reason why lawyers are so disdained, right?
yeah,
And I admit this, right? And so by having a little bit of fun and showing that to the
yeah,
world, I think it allows folks to feel a little bit more comfortable. And, our firm, this, Joey, it's built on our expertise, right?
yep.
And we show that simply through our work, right? And our clients will tell you the same. And so why not have a little bit of fun while doing it, right?
Yeah,
So
dare I say you guys are cool? I mean, that's like you're modernizing the whole attorney, experience, and I think it's awesome. Like So yeah, I appreciate the way you came back, and I'm not, I know you are super busy. It's I want people to have context and to know like it's not a show. It's actual has a huge purpose, and it's pretty cool. I'm excited to see where it takes you guys in 2023. So speaking of that, TCPA World is the go-to place for what's going on in the Telephone Consumer Protection Act and what's going on out there today, and what's kind of any sentiment that we need to look at for 2023.
man, there's so much going on, right? You see how many articles we put out a day,
Yeah,
Joey, but the three hottest topics that I'm keeping an eye out on right now are, 2022 has been the year of mini TCPA laws, right? With Florida coming out,
yeah,
Oklahoma, Michigan trying to follow suit. And for folks who've been in this industry for a while, I think that's shaking the folks up a little bit, right? So you want to make sure that you're keeping an eye out on those state law claims. At TCPA World, we try to keep you apprised of, breaking news and changes to the law. So, definitely keep your eye on that. The next focus is these web session replay cases, right?
mm,
We all heard about the active prospect case, the very solution that's supposed to help protect you from TCPA
right,
litigation is unfortunately could be viewed, at least in the Ninth Circuit, as
right,
wiretapping, right? And I know the industry as a whole is trying to figure out how to work together.
yeah,
The folks at Active Prospect, it's a great product. It helps us. They're trying to do the right thing, and it's just unfortunate that they're facing, and other web session replay solutions as well are facing this type of risk. So it'll
yeah,
be interesting to see what comes out of that. And then lastly, just to focus on website disclosures, right? Whether it be arbitration clauses, TCPA disclaimers. I think regulators, judges, the courts are really trying to button up on how folks and consumers are accepting disclaimers and how, as an industry as a whole, we can get together and set some standards around that. So those are my top
Yeah.
three for now.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's that's a really big, like you said, a lot of activity. So if you're not following or checking tcpaworld.com, do it immediately if you're within performance marketing space, because those are three key areas that you need to keep track of. So before we go, I want, personalize your, you, Puja. I know you work, you like to work out. But tell us something, I've seen you hike, do some really cool physical accomplishments, but tell us more about you. Like, what's something people don't know about you? I know maybe you want to share you're an awesome man.
Yeah, so with any free time I get, Joey's correct. I am working out, lifting, running, whatever it be. But more specifically, my hobby, my adult hobby, is doing ultra marathon runs with obstacles, specifically Spartan races. I was ambassador at Spartan for a few years. Really cool organization. You get to work with, a lot of military folks, a lot of folks who are looking to be healthy in the right ways. And I help mentor a lot of folks to move them towards that more healthy lifestyle. And so, as much as I love doing the races, I think I've done over 55 now, probably all across the country. I
Damn.
also like to help others who are looking to get physically healthy. So it's a passion, it's a hobby of mine. I dedicate as much as I do to my TCPA work as I do to my health. So
Jeez, man.
yeah.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I didn't know that either. So, good way to thank you so much for coming on my show and sharing your journey and with everybody out there. It's a really cool story. What's a good way for people outside the TCPA world? What's a good way for people to get in touch with you?
Yeah, well, thank you, Joey, for having me. But yeah, folks can find me on tcpaworld.com, and then also my email address is puja@troutmanfirm.com.
Awesome. Thanks again, Pooja.
Thank you, Joey. Take care.